relation, territory, market opportunities, segments that attract most investors and why. Short, mid, and long-term view of the investor's perspective in the region. Dear panelists, thank you for being with us today and have a good session.
Okay.
Mr. Mehic.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edin Mehic. I'm the founder of company Collective, a company that is the biggest recruitment agency here in the region. I would like to thank the organizer of Sarajevo Business Forum for supporting, enabling this discussion and this topic about the platform for attracting international investors. And I believe that's really necessary for the future of this region. As a professional optimist, I would like to steer this discussion in a positive way. But of course, as Chris already did a good introduction, I would love to talk about the challenges that preventing investments to happen. Before I start, I would like to introduce our distinguished panelists. Mr. Mohamed Hedi Mejai, Director of Investment Department of Islamic Development Bank, a multilateral financial institution headquartered in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Mr. Gordan Milinic, Director of Foreign Investment Promotion Agency of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mrs. Fatma Chinar, Head of International Banking Department of Kuwait Turkish Participation Bank, Kuwait Turk, which is the leading Islamic bank of Turkey. Mr. Chris Gabriel, you already met him, CEO of Fly Bosnia, the newest airline based in Sarajevo, connecting Bosnia and Herzegovina with select destinations in Europe and the Middle East through direct flights. Mrs. Eldina Muftic, Vice President of Zere Agriculture and Investment Management, a leading investor in the agribusiness in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mrs. Vedrana Likan, Managing Partner Colliers International, responsible for operations Slovenia, Croatia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mr. Dragi Dizdar, entrepreneur, business executive born in Bosnia and Herzegovina, based in Norway, and Vice President of Association of Bosnia and Herzegovina in Norway. Mr. Maho Taso, CEO of Prostor and President of National Association of Realtors and Vice President of Real Estate Experts in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And last but not least, Mr. Hasan Shehovic, President of Bosnia and Herzegovina Worldwide Diaspora. As you heard, different people, so I love this mixture of different views, and we will approach this topic from different perspectives. But because I'm coming from this startup world, I would love to add this startup flavor a little bit to discussion. One of my heroes, Ray Dalio, one of the richest men, but really, I believe the smartest man, he has some kind of formula when he's starting some project. He said, you should start with a bold vision. He said, even with the right people, but without right vision, strong vision, I'm always scared. So we will start with a bold vision. And he said, later on, after that vision, the reality will hit back. And it will hit back really strong and with the full force. So we will talk a little bit about reality, why it's not that easy to realize that. But when we have additional knowledge about difficulties, about the challenges, I believe we are already much closer to the vision, to the bold vision. Okay, we have one more panelist, sorry. Mrs. Anna Lucia Lind, Chairman and CEO of Swiss Financial Engineering, Switzerland. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so although certain panelists are on the other side of the table, I would call that side of the table investor side of the table. I would love to hear from all the panelists to tell us in a few minutes, we called in the startup world that elevator pitch, 1 minute pitch, to tell us how they see the future of this region. What is their vision for the region? Also, if they don't know all about the region, maybe they can tell us what is the perfect pitch that every investor would like to hear. So, Mr. Mohammed, would you like to start?
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thanks for the BBI team for the organization of the event and for inviting us. I mean, for us as a bank, a multilateral bank, actually we saw the future in the region back in 2000 when we first started really as an investor here in this country. And actually it turned to be a very bold move, as you say, because the country was just emerging from the war. But we came, given the nature of our bank, really as a multilateral bank, was to really create hope and build. And we started by basically our first investment is the creation of BBI Bank itself. And also we acquired the land that is today the BBI Center. Of course, being a multilateral bank, it took us a bit of time to figure out what to do with the land because we are not in the business of developing sort of shopping centers and so on, but we, at that time, we wanted really to start somewhere, and we thought of really creating a platform, which is the first platform is a financial platform, which is the BBI Bank, really to create basically a channel to bring in FDI to the country. And the second platform is really a marketplace, which is a shopping center. And that's what we did, actually. We built a center, and it turned to be really a very important initiative because it has created a momentum in Sarajevo and in the region. And the third platform, actually, is the Sarajevo Business Forum that was, we supported and sponsored, actually, for the first 3 to 5 years. With the BBI Bank, because we felt really important to have a communication and marketing platform to change that perception. And that's how the idea of the forum came in, really to give the opportunity for people and investors to meet and tell their stories and know about the country. And here we are today. I mean, really, in terms of, we are very happy to see that we have moved in terms of really a mere maybe 200 people who attended the first forum to today, few hundred people. And also we have seen a large number of projects that have followed afterwards, really that showed that things can be done in Bosnia and in the region. So this is what I can say in a nutshell, not to mobilize really the airtime, but I have a lot to tell about Bosnia because I have been coming here for 20 years, so I will be happy to share that throughout the session.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you so much. Vedrana, would you like to follow with and have 1 minute pitch for the region?
Yeah, it's never easy to present the region because it's so full of varieties, but I think this is actually where the attractiveness lays. So working with the international investors and actually promoting the region for already 13 years across the world, and especially in the last 3 years being focused on Emirates and China, I've been challenged by the fact to put the region in the geographical context, needless to say, in a cultural or business opportunity context. Where I put my elevator pitch for the region is actually a load of opportunities because we are still undiscovered, virgin to a certain sense, which brings to the table a lot of investment and business opportunities. But where I usually put an emphasis on is in partnering with the local people, being very innovative and creative local people because the history taught us to be. And actually, this is where the strength comes from. So it's not about selling what we have here. Of course, trade is one of the biggest products that we can offer to the world. But it's not about selling real estate or selling the investment products. It's about partnering. Because without the local partnership and partnering with the local community and regulation, it's impossible to do a proper business in the region.
Okay, good. Thank you. Very short. Okay, Mr. Mahatas, would you like to join? You already succeed in attracting different investors, you know. Maybe you already find what is the, you know, hotspot of this perfect pitch for the investors when you're attracting them to come to Bosnia?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank you organizers, BBI Bank, for inviting us to such a great event and for promoting this country and this region in such a good way, putting us on global investment map and making our business much easier. I would like to say first, as my biggest achievement, maybe I would say, it's my return to Bosnia after living in diaspora, and that's, in my opinion, my humble vision and our vision should be. Together with international investors, we should attract our diaspora, and we shouldn't stop our young people going out. We should even encourage them to go out, to get the new knowledge, new insights, new energy, and then attract them to get back and to build a prosperous country here, because that's what we got here really in our region. There is no so geographically limited area where you can find so diverse and unique combination of thinking, and so creative and so resilient people, which really like to embrace everything new, everything which is positive. So we just need to give them a chance, and that's in the future, and now we should be a bridge, as we always been, between East and West. We could be a perfect starting point for Eastern companies, for a company from East to go and expand to Western country, and also we could be a perfect outsourcing arena for even the most advanced ICT businesses here, which we already see happening now.
Thank you. You mentioned really important topics about, how to keep the talent here and attract our diaspora to come back and reinvest. We have few people from diaspora, and your story is really good example, And I would say, because 1/3 of the country, for example, in Bosnia, and it's similar in the region, is out of Bosnia. And I said sometimes the power of Bosnia is outside of Bosnia. All those ambassadors, more than 2 million people around the world. Mrs. Fatima, would you like to maybe share what is the best elements of the pitch, how to attract, what they want to know? We had discussion before, and you said the investors, when they are coming here, they have so many questions. And sometimes people don't address that in their presentations, proposals, and everything. So would you like to share what investors are really looking for?
Sure, definitely. I have been communicating with investors over 10 years and quite get expertise about their expectation. But before that, I want to kick off this meeting with the need that last year, United Nations mentioned that for sustainable development goals worldwide, we need $4 trillion investments to finance SDGs. But now, the investment at the market is $1.4 billion. So we have a gap of approximately $2.6, $2.5 billion investments to attract to our countries. This is the case. The investment is there, the needs they are there. We need to match them. This is the statistical need to kick off this meeting. And as SEE region, what we should do, this is the perfect time, excellent time to address investors to this region. But before that, what we should do, we should invest in attracting investors before they invest in our countries, SEE region. This is the first target should be done by all of us. And what is the responsibilities of banks to attract and invest in the reputation of the countries to attract investors? Banks are the most credible, eligible, strong, solid institutions of the countries, which at the first window visible for the investors, the first touch point. I experienced this. So the banks should prepare themselves to prepare presentations, analysis, how they can, let's say, benefit from, invest in the related countries. And to be visible, we may invite them to the countries, but investors, most of them, they are not visiting exactly the countries. First, they have some specific destinations like London, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong. Those are main destinations. Investing, they leave. So we should be visible at the programs, panels, discussions there to open the topic of SEE region as a main topic to invest in. But definitely, Sarajevo Business Forum, for me, Sarajevo Investment Forum. This year, I really experienced a great, let's say, feeling that investors are here at this roundtable sessions. We also have investors, and I talk with them. They really impressed from the discussions, from the hosting. So this is like practicing how to communicate with investors. So this business forum itself kicking off the attention and let's say interest to the region. This is very first my highlights for this topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Lind, I would just take some elements of your answer, and you said that market doesn't work. You have investors on one side, you have a lot of money. From another side, entrepreneurs think that it's still so hard to access the capital. Why market doesn't work for both sides? What is your opinion?
I think thank you, sorry. My excitement to be here is one of the things that's going to make me speak for the region and to see why it will work, why it will not work, and what could be done to make capital be accessible for the region. And one of the main things, and sorry, once again, thanks for being here. I'm very honored to be the little first black, I never say the word little, but the first ambassador from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I felt myself blend in, and I think this is very confidential for us as investors to come in. But as an investor, you could only access a market when leadership works. When leadership is your marketing, everything flows. And this is not my theory, this is a reality. I live in Dubai, I live in Switzerland, I live in Germany. If you talk Angela Merkel, everybody will run for her. She's an iron woman. If you talk Switzerland, everybody knows the she's and the mountain. Mountain never goes to you, you have to go to the mountain. And if you talk Dubai, we have the biggest mall, the tallest building, the biggest airport, the best shopping. If your leadership leaves you to believe that you're good, everybody's going to take you for your goodness. If leadership left you in the middle, you have no reputation. You're neither good nor bad. I'm going to bring my money where I don't know what it is. If I could have condensated milk, I'm not going for normal cheap milk, because if I could afford it, then I go for it. And my personal life, I live in Burj Khalifa. I have the example, Mr. Gordon had visited my home. I never said this before in my life. Reason why I'm saying that here, you have to anchor yourself somewhere. And if I am bringing in my investor and I am in threat to lose something, even the heel of my shoes, I'm not going to go. So once again, we could talk about everything and I could put my bag of money in the middle. But if your leadership does not give me the trust, nothing will happen. Second point is be consul or ambassador on a voluntary way of your country, or comes in as I am here. I could go out and be a free ambassador of this country. I have met the most wonderful human here. I'm in love with you guys. Really? Last night one guy said to me, why they protect you so much? And I said, it is real love. It is love at the first sight. Ahmed, we have met each other before. We were overlinked. He was like my bodyguard. And at one point I wanted to say, guys, stop it. But I get here and it is real love. So under the eye of God, when we talk about love, it's not love all of the time to have a man and a woman in a sentimental way. It is love as your new family. And I felt like this country is have a warmness that nobody, even myself, I never thought it was like this. I was in Slovenia, and I find people so warm. I came here, and I was like, wow, this chocolate lady is going to stay here. So you guys will have to put me out of here. I'm going to come back. So I do love it here, and
Okay.
you
So-
say, we just find love where we are. That's a song. So love is in the air, and you all guys have me.
Okay.
And Mr. Gordon, you are the best ambassador. Last night you steal me in the city. And where this guy? This guy is just so great. So I could go the panel down, and you find a director of a bank being your driver, and I was like, my driver is waiting on me, and I see his title, and oh God, this is not true. So when people burn down this bragging that I am the one, then we are all the same. And I could only advise the leader, don't try to create a new formula. In the banking, we take products from products and we replicate it. And I will go to say, let's do the China system. You have one product, you take it, you put another market in. Bosnia and Herzegovina could be the next Dubai, it could be the next Singapore, it could be the next Hong Kong. And if you ask me, I don't like Hong Kong, but when I go there, man, we have the best time in our life. So it is not about what you could spend and how you could spend it. It's how you link your heart with these people who accept you. Every one of you all that are here, unite to me to ambassador for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I am the first black ambassador that you all have with your soul and your heart. I am here.
Thank you. So leadership and love. Okay, good formula. Now I would like to ask Mr. Gordon Milnic. You have so many activities. You are meeting with different, from world leaders to investors directly. What is your opinion about why market doesn't work for the investors and why we still don't have in Bosnia enough investments, what we are planning to do and what we are expecting to happen here? So can you share maybe the three main obstacles, and three main challenges in Bosnia and Herzegovina that we have regarding investment?
Thank you. On behalf of the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, I would like to thank for the opportunity to speak today. And also, I would like to thank all participants for attending this event. I believe that this event is of great importance to all stakeholders involved in process of the improvement of business climate in Bosnia and Herzegovina and FDI attraction. I must say that Foreign Investment Agency is all these years working very hard. We are trying to explain to foreign investors that we are a safe country, that they can work here excellent, that they can earn money here, and that they are the best guests in our country. Normally we have problems. When our friend, the first speaker, Mr. Chris Gabriel, was speaking about the position of our region, about the marketing of our country, I had to remember one event in Italy last year when we were speaking with foreign investors. They asked us, is it safe to walk in the streets in Bosnia and Herzegovina? It was a terrible question for us. I explained them that war is finished 25 years ago, that we are a safe country, that it's easier and more safe for them to walk in the streets of Sarajevo, Mostar, Banja Luka, than in streets of Paris, Berlin, London, and the other countries. It's the main point. Our embassies, all our leaders must explain to the world that we are a safe country, that they can live here normally, invest here normally, and earn money as the investors which are already here. We must know that 80% of investors who are now working in Bosnia, 80% want to reinvest, to stay here, to work more here. We are explaining to all investors that Bosnia and Herzegovina has many comparative advantages for foreign investors. There are many reasons for investing in Bosnia, such as stable financial sector, excellent geographical location, a favorable trade and other agreements, favorable tax and customs system, availability of skilled, educated, price-competitive labor force, and attractive investment locations, industrial zones, free trade zones, and natural beauties. The problems are we have no incentives. I can say practically when investor is coming and telling me, why to invest here? In Serbia, I'll get 3,000 euros, maybe 7,000 euros for every new working place. That's terrible for us. How to explain that Bosnia and Herzegovina is not giving any incentives on the state level, on the entity level. I'm explaining them that we have some municipalities which are thinking about incentives. We had a case of municipality Prozor when we were coming with investors. They promised them 6,000 hour marks for every new working place. And new municipality Stanari, they promised 5,000 marks for every new working place. But we must think about it on the state level and on the entity level. I asked our parliament, I asked our council of ministers to help us to give some incentives. I explained the case of Serbia. They gave on incentives 100 million euros, but they got 2 billion euros of investments. We must give something to get the investments. But we hope that our governments, our parliaments will think on the other way in the future, that they will help us to attract investors because we have great possibilities. We are in the center of former Yugoslavia. They can start business in Bosnia and then work regionally in Serbia, Croatia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and the other countries, which are all of them giving incentives. Croatia is giving 300 euros. Macedonia is giving 3,000 euros. And we must think about it.
Thank you. I agree. The incentives are important part of discussion, you know, that's the problem in the region a little bit, you know, we are doing some certain reforms, but we are not really proactive. And especially what you said, you know, about leadership, but also marketing and selling the country. You should knock on the door, you offer different kind of things. And I met once with the Polish investment promotion agency, you know, that's kind of perfect pitch. It's not just what Chris mentioned about no stamps, but also incentives for education, promoting the country well. And so I believe that's the important part of the mix. I would love now to move to the people that are already invested and to share some of their experience. Before Chris, I would love to ask Mrs. Eldina Muftić, Vice President of Zero Agriculture, one of the biggest investors in agriculture business in Bosnia and Herzegovina, to give us some tops but also flops about investing in the country and your experiences, particularly investing in agriculture business.
Thank you. Thank you very much for invitation and opportunity to be here with that nice people and exchange that experience. And thank you BBI Bank for opportunity we had to connect with our investors some years ago. And we are here now. I will point one important fact. This is important rule on investors. It's very simple. Do not lose money. And everyone needs to eat, and investing in agriculture and sustainability agriculture and food production can really make difference. And most investors when come in our country, it's attracted to geographic position, natural resource, land, climate, available labor, but it is enough. Of course it's not. Zera Agriculture Investment and Management invest in 2 companies, about 60 million km. We invest in infrastructure, equipment, cooling capacity, and fruit plantation, and both companies we saved from bankrupt. And now we employ about 150 employees, and we produce on 600 hectares fruit. We communicate in have cooperation about 5,000 farmers, and we are on the Europe market. And a question is always, it is what is needed to that investment be successful. I really must point also one thing, everyone has a role to play to be something very successful in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Investors need local community support. We must do in that place much more here. And also good investment result with new investors. And that can be a good beginning to have a new investment in Bosnia and Herzegovina. For us, key challenge now is new technology to improve sector competition, to follow up trends on the market, and also a government policy to play a leading role to have to push that process, to help with all these things on the field. Also, one important thing for us to have it's signing agreement with EU, because when we sign this agreement, for us will be open much more funds for agriculture. And just with that fund, we can be with concurrence on the market. That is, from my point, very important.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, you already mentioned, I love that story about the stamps and all that different kind of things. We hope that we will introduce e-signature really soon.
I got to the point where I almost walked in there with a stamp on my forehead and said, guys, that's it, I'm stamped as well.
Exactly, I agree. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I have so many companies, and you have certain specialized agencies for doing just the papers. You know, entrepreneurs figure out that can be the business, you know. They will always try to solve the problem on the market and get rid of the pain that entrepreneurs really experience.
Because if I listen to the conversation this morning, I mean, this is not rocket science, okay? Ms. Anna was talking about what's happening in other parts of the world, and we all know it's been done before. And it's very, very simple. I think the smartest thing Bosnia, and taking it to the regional level, can do is actually grab some investors, grab some ex-PE people, grab some people that have gone around and lived in different parts of the world and done this before, and put together a very, very small advisory board that think in a different paradigm to the historical way we think, and actually get some passion into this process. You can teach skills, but you can't teach passion. And if you can get that passion that can talk bank speak, that can engage the right people, and in parallel, get a team of people that are passionate about fixing the real stuff, not at the municipality or the canton or whatever it is, but at the macro level, fix this stuff. It's not hard. It is so simple. We can't just look at it and say, oh, well, you know, this person gives 3,000 euros or whatever it is. Mercedes-Benz doesn't apologise for being more expensive than Hyundai, right? They build a package, they build an experience, they promote it. It's a premium product and you're buying an experience. You're not just buying 4 wheels and a steering wheel. You know, you've got to package it how the recipients would want to hear it and then deliver and back it up. Guys, this is really simple. I'm passionate about this stuff. I'll put my hand up and volunteer for free. I don't mind.
Come on, I join you.
Okay, good.
Who else?
There's 2 people that are going to get this. Right, it's very simple. So let's not make it hard. We always focus on why we can't, not how we can. And I think it's a mindset shift. Change the mindset, please, and let's get some stuff happening.
I agree. Thank you. Yeah, I've been. That's really like surprised me. You know that in Poland they did some kind of discrimination. They give more favor to the international investors. That's not usual way of thinking, but they just wanted to show how they're passionate about, you know, attracting investors. So I believe that kind of passion and like bold statements are really important. Okay, we have some other people from diaspora here. I would love to ask them, Mr. Dragi Dizdar and Mr. Hasan Shehovic, to talk about important topics about. I have some kind of study that 80% of all export-based businesses are founded or supported by diaspora. So diaspora is really like really important or key factor in development of the business sector here. So I would love to share your perspective, you know, how we can have more companies and more investment coming from diaspora.
Thank you, Edin, for this introduction. I am very honored to be here, and thank you for invitation. Also, many grades and congratulations to Mr. Bukvic and all staff from the BBI for this big organization. My name is Hasan Shehovic. I am living in Turkey, and I escaped from Bosnia before 25 years during war. I am manager in company of Terbike, and I am civil engineer. And now I am president of the Bosnia Worldwide Network, Bosnia Diaspora. You know, it is about 2 million people who escaped from Bosnia only during the war between 1992 and 1995. And in that period, it was opinion that those people are lost for the Bosnia. But after 15, 20, 25 years, this is situation in this moment that it is exactly big capacity, one strong Bosnia who are living outside of Bosnia. As you know, it is about 3 billion euros, according to the information from Bosnian Central Bank, to the directly money transfer which are sending every day to our cousins, our relatives from outside of Bosnia. And it is about 3 billion euros which we are spending during our visiting in Bosnia. 2 million people from Bosnia, it is about 57% of all citizens, which are living in more than 65 countries all around the world. Without Turkey. In Turkey, it is about 3 or 4 million peoples who escaped from these countries from Balkans in the last 100 years. And now is question, what we can do to make all these people to help Bosnia according to the investment projects that fact is that is many people who escaped from Bosnia during the war from 1992 to 1995 is people who are now in the European Parliament, who are ministry in the Sweden or in the Germany, in the high-class people in the biggest companies, and many doctors and engineers and many people in the big companies. We must make one network to introduce all of these people to think about Bosnia. But it is some confusion in our minds. Should we listen our heart or logic? Our hearts told to us, go to Bosnia, invest, because it is our country. I am born here, it is my country. I must help to my country. But my logic told me, just a moment, which is your business plan? Which is your planning? It is short time or for the long time? Which is business ambience in the Bosnia? We must all together with the Bosnian people and all including government and local authorities and all civil organizations in Bosnia to work together to make one system to help to diaspora, and all of this works must be according to the Bosnian laws. But unfortunately, it is no any law in the Bosnian regulation about diaspora. It is not, for example, Ministry of Diaspora. People who are working in our embassies, in the general consulate, they don't know what we can do in our, for example, in the New York, in the London, in the Istanbul, in the Vienna. It is only some personality action, yes, but it not exactly plan and directive what they can do. First, it must be Ministry of Diaspora, and they must here in the Bosnia make all regulation and laws what Bosnia must do, Bosnia and Herzegovina, to help diaspora, because we are here. Thank you.
I agree.
My name is Dragi Dizdar. I'm living in Norway in the last 6 years. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very proud to be one part of this magnificent conference. And I will be very short in my meaning of what is the best investment in Bosnia. The best investment in Bosnia is long-time cooperation which is based on win-win. In this country, we have the diaspora and Bosnia-Herzegovina. The biggest weapon we have is 2 million people living in almost all countries in the world. Before 12 years ago, I didn't know something in the aluminium and glass. Now we have 250 projects in Norway and 20 million euro export to this country. Our companies, Hano and Ramaglas, can do business with all world. That is the result of this 12 years experience. If I could that test, there's 2 million people can do that. I see only potential in Bosnia. We are going now to the make business in IT and tourism, and I will say that the Bosnian government has to invest in people like Nedim Makarevic, our ambassador in Norway. This is a guy make a big difference, and I believe we should invest in identity of Bosnia diaspora, and there will be many investments to our country. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, Nedim was here, and he's really like good example. You know what? Oh, he's here. Oh man, hey, hi. It's a really good example. It's not just because he's my friend, you know, but that's you know that's the example. I would love that would be the representative, real representative of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm so proud that for the great job and that we got that confirmation. Also, Nedim started some things that we are working right now. For example, one of the biggest innovation funds in the world from Norway, Innovation Norway, that's the name of the fund, is coming thanks to Nedim's efforts, you know, to Bosnia and Herzegovina. We're already working on something. So thank you so much. You mentioned long-term investment. That's something interesting, you know. And when I talk with a lot of, you know, from time to time I met with impact investors from the other side. I met with some Silicon Valley investors, you know, like really like quick investment, quick in, quick out, a lot of money, multipliers by 20, 30 or something. But you, Mrs. Fatma Chinar, you mentioned long-term investment. And also maybe Mr. Mohammed can talk more about that. How Islamic banking can make that difference. Because we cannot maybe offer right now in this phase of development huge returns, especially not that fast. So how we can invent new financial instruments or products for this region or this market? Or do you already working something in Turkey that can be interesting also for us in this region?
I would like to share our Turkish experience of sukuk instrument with your good self. This is for conventional term, it is bond. It is Islamic bond. And this is for long-term investments, 5 years, 7 years, and more. It could be more than. What happened at Kuwait Turk? I mean, in 2009, we were the first bank who launched sukuk with some special, let's say, approvals from institutions, because in 2009 in Turkey, we don't have any legal, administrative legislation, regulatory registration for sukuk product, for example. But when we follow the international markets, we recognize that, especially investors from Islamic institutions and countries, they have high liquidity and they are looking for destinations to place their monies. I mean, and especially for sukuk, I should highlight that this is asset-backed investments. Compared to bond, this is definitely a competitive advantage due to the risk transfer of the structure. This is a secured system. Always there is underlying asset, leasing, receivables under your investments. Compared to just investing your money, with just then place your money with an institution, you have an underlying asset which in case of default or any worst cases, you have an asset to get your loss or anything else. Those are bad scenarios, but this is a secured system for long-term financing. In 2009, we issued our first sukuk. We took really, surprising demand from international markets, and over 30 destinations, 30 different institutions, we, took demand for investment. And this is really something encouraged us that at international markets, we could be one of the players, why not? Then the next year, the first one was a symbolic transaction, just to experience it, because at those times, no legislation. Then next year, we convinced the authorities, government authorities, how important for the country, not just for Kuwait Turk, as a sovereign level, sukuk product is very important to attract long-term investments for your PPP projects and long-term projects over 10 years. And then Kuwait Turk launched second transaction, $350 million, very well accepted, 6 times performance, demand from the market. Then Turkish government, they launched sukuk products. Now, what's happening? I just want to give the latest figures, today's figures. In local market, we also attracted local customers to invest in short-term sukuk investments to attract their savings to the banking system. Now, the figures, total issued figures, reached to 13 billion Turkish lira, local Turkish lira investment in terms of sukuk, $1.8 billion investment for long-term dollar sukuk. And what we experienced, there are specific markets which are investors. They are there and looking for investment. This one is Malaysia. For example, in Malaysia, ringgit is very attractive in terms of rates versus swap rates versus dollar. We found a window, let's say, from investor perspective, you have some terms like windows. At the specific markets, you are following swap rates and some calculations. Then we raised 800 million ringgit amount of sukuk transactions there. So what happened? You see, we initiated something. We believed that we should be there. Then we took action. This is really very important for Bosnia and also other countries. I strongly recommend that. Initiate some activities as a model. This will encourage for the next ones. And what's experienced us, I want to share my experience with investors. No matter this is Islamic or no matter this is conventional, investors, they are expecting some answers for their questions in their mind. No matter where you are, they have some questions. Yesterday, I delivered a presentation just to show I consider audience as an investor, and I threw out my presentation to investors. And they are all technical information. Technical informations about my country, about my banking system, ecosystem, and about Kuwait Turk. So this is really very important. At each 6 months, we prepare this investor presentation, technically, details, and present to investors. Investors need confidence and trust of how the banks, they are performing and communicating their financials. So, for the next forum, I am expecting some panels showing that such investor presentations from different region countries. This is just for, this program is about to be over. Yes. So let's talk about, think over the next one. So this would be a good let's say, workshop to have investor presentations from different countries, as I mentioned, some destinations. So as I just wrap up my discussions, Islamic instruments, sukuk, asset-backed investments, this is very attractive for securing the transactions. It's a good initiation to invite investors to your customer. And visibility is very important with your presentations with professionals, especially bankers, CROs, your CEOs, present those presentations. And other one is, if we arrange a transaction or not, no matter, at each 3 months, 6 months, we provide or we organize non-deal roadshows. This is a very common practice among international market, you should be visible in front of the investors and communicate your institutions, your country, and your banks. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to Vedrana, I would ask Nedim to give us the comment, if you don't mind. We already talked about those things that we already discussed, we two of us privately, about leadership, about passion, about selling the country, perfect pitch and everything. I believe, and also diaspora, you know, what you are doing last few years, you know, working on really this business. We are a small country, we cannot play, you know, big politics, but maybe concrete economic projects, investment. Please, if you can share some of your experience.
Thank you, Edin. I believe, you know, the main thing about, especially my case is that I was in business like 20 years in a role internationally. And then after that, if you get, and I'm very grateful, opportunity to be ambassador of your country, then you have already, you know exactly where you need to focus on. What I miss is, from our side, is that we are forgetting again and again the fact that we have 1.6 million people out there. 1.6 million people. It's a huge, it's a power, which are very well educated, which are very well established. You know, the case about us is that we are all, if we speak about, you know, each of us, we can do it. We are successful, you have successful engineers, doctors, football players, whatever. But the thing is about to join together, to make something collectively. This is exactly where we need to improve. And then just transfer to the agencies in our country. We need to improve their economic diplomacy. Not just economic diplomacy, also economic diplomacy of public diplomacy and how to represent ourselves. So my message would be, we have a great diaspora. We need to focus more effectively on the sources where our people are already established in countries all over the world. And this would also help our friends all around the world to focus more on us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Nedim. Vedrana, you already shared some great news about some new cool investors coming to the region with the cool real estate projects and other projects. It's not always real estate, it's real estate just for the, you know, like infrastructure. Maybe you can share with that and we can have a like conclusion, you know, what you think is the best tool, best platform for promotion of the region and also the tools for attracting the investment.
Wow, a lot of it has been already said, but I think every one of us that is actually working with the international investor pool is the ambassador of the region and the ambassador of the country. So where I think the business will be coming from the international platform toward our region will be related to real estate, because this is a fruitful component and, let's say, attractive returns for the investor. Tourism is one of the drivers for that segment as well. But where new businesses are coming, real estate is again related to it, but new businesses are coming to this region from all over the place. Startup scene, IT, innovations is something that we've already heard. We are very versed in that, and we believe that either from US, Australia, Canada, Scandinavian countries, and some of the Far East investments will be coming here to support the startup scene and actually seed the money. What else is the model of future investment platform? Currently, money is out there, it's available. We already affected the international investors, but we are lacking quality products for the load of the money that is available out there. So what we are currently looking at and working on is actually fundraising, creating an investment and primarily real estate funds, as well as private equity funds, that are joining in different, of course, portfolios of the businesses, but that are joining and putting a seed money in upgrading the business models that are already present and unlocking the international platform as the emitting and importing markets on the global scene. So I strongly believe in this region, and I've been versed to the international business for more than 20 years, but I'm staying here, maintaining our business in the region, and I honestly believe it only depends how we communicate what we have, depending where we go. So either we are talking about ex-Yugoslavia, Adriatic region, Balkans, Southeast Europe, however we put it, it's us that are creating the business environment. And I really honestly believe that this platform at Sarajevo Business Forum has been showing how strong the platform and how strong the region is, and just keep on going, guys. With a good leadership and politics joined with the business, I think we are on a good track.
Great, thank you. Mr. Maho Taso, your words for closing this session, I would say.
Yes, a lot of positive things has been said here today, and I think it's rightfully, because this has been tremendous forum, the best ever, and this is, we tried the cause, the biggest and the probably most attractive investment forum in Balkans, or at least in ex-Yugoslavia. Here we've got so many interesting things to share, and that's what we just need to do. What we've learned here also during these 3 days, that we need to even more cooperate on regional level, to learn from each other the best practices, to exchange information about investors and prepare the project for them, as BBI Forum has done. So I think this is a perfect start. We just need to ride on this positive wave and to take good care of these investors that are also sending around this table today, and to attract the new one.
Okay, thank you. Chris, when we can expect more flights? Direct flights to Sarajevo?
Flight's happening very soon. It'll be over coming weeks that things will start to launch, so you've got a lot to look forward to, that's for sure. But can I just make a point, just a very, very brief closing point too. A lot of good dialogue, a lot of good sentiment, a lot of different ideas. But I'm about getting things done, and I would like to understand what are we going to do different tomorrow, and who's going to take accountability of driving that.
Okay, I have one good comment. You know, if we have in audience somebody interested for the question, or is there any questions from audience, or somebody else wants to join the discussion? Okay, we can move on if there is no question. Good. Okay, yes, please, Mr. Gordon.
I want to invite all people here to help FIPA in finding of foreign investors. FIPA is working hard. We are officially the best investment agency in Middle and East Europe. We got an award last week in Dubai. Please tell to investors that they will not be alone any moment in Bosnia. We shall be with them all the time, from their first coming to Sarajevo to in all administrative procedures, and during their work we will help them in solving all the problems. I was speaking with Mrs. Eldina about Zera investment. Our department for support is now trying to solve the problems of this company. This is a very good investor, and we must help them. Please tell that they will not be alone. FIPA will help them in all phases of their investment. Thank you.
Okay, Anna, please.
I would just like to make a final statement regarding investment and development in emerging market country. I do think the huge potential that lie in Bosnia and Herzegovina is the youth. There's a huge percentage of youth. And if you take every one of the youths here, average 25 years, that have to pass the next limit of getting married, having kids, and serve the country. I think when leadership comes in and play the role, nobody have to ask me to come in and invest, because automatically I'm going to see real estate, I'm going to see forest infrastructure, what we have been talking about, Gerd and I, and we are going to see consumption. So money does not ask questions, money go forward. In the investment industry, we are sometimes egoist, we are sometimes mean, and we are sometimes too, I would say, I would like to put it in a simple way. We all time expect the red carpet. Nobody wants to work for that money because we have it. So we expect everyone to give us something. I normally go out and I talk with the people. And the reason why I invited Mr. Gordon to my home, he didn't want anything to eat. He eat some peanuts and have some wine. It was cheap for me, great. But I was able to learn about his country before I came here. So the good thing in a country is not the one that all of the time going to force you to come in, but make you come in and stays. And that is my invitation. A model of Dubai and Miami and Monaco, that you invite somebody to come in. If I could come here and invest, I would love to have a home. I don't want to be any more than a hotel. I don't live the passion of being in a room with 30 square meters. I want to have my space. And as you say, security is one of the parts. So if I could bring myself and my money, my other investors are following. I could estimate for Bosnia and Herzegovina around $5 billion within a week. And that I could do it easily because I know the program we have talked about. And I will say something, tourism. If we, each of us here today, pitch the path of the wonderful river and landscape that this country have, I will bring another 1 billion. But I cannot bring the 1 billion if nobody follows me. It's going to be a trend. If I talk together with BBI Bank and I say to them, be my segregation, I bring you the money, you distribute it. We create channels of working together. So I do think if we serve the path by sharing the formula, we are going to be very successful. At the moment, I don't see it in the region, although there is a platform wonderful saying one region, one economy. So I think this should be the slogan. It should be in the airplanes, it should be in the cars, it could be at the airport. And when we have one region, one economy, as Dubai have my Dubai. When I talk about Dubai, we never say Dubai, we say my Dubai. And it sounds very arrogant, but it tastes so good. So this is something we have to incentivize in the region. Everybody should feel themselves as part of the region, as part of the economy, and we investors should come in with your money and don't be picky. Take what is necessary at that moment and share the formula with existing banking. Give them our know-how, share with them our customer bases, and work together as one. I cannot impose a government, I could just give an idea, and I'm willing together with Chris Gabriel, if the opportunity allows us, to sit down and draw something for the country. Your government doesn't have to follow me, I just love the idea that there's a lot to be done, and I think the synergy could, in the future, benefit all of us here today present.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I believe Bosnia is more like Switzerland and Herzegovina is more like California and Miami is in Split or Makarska. And okay, somebody else, last remarks. Yes, please, Mr. Mohammed, please.
Perhaps maybe one concluding really practical recommendation. I mean, if we look today at the ranking really and doing business of the region, you have 3 countries that are in the list of the 51st countries. You have Bosnia is, if I recall, 89, and perhaps the KPI should be really how to bring these countries maybe in the top 40 or top 30 within the next 5 years, because really this, by looking really at where the region and Bosnia is scoring low, to work on these basically parameters, because it's all to do really with efficiency of doing business. And frankly, this will work much better than just giving incentives, because really incentives, they distort basically the market. And the market usually functions well if really there are all the regulation and the parameters ready to do business. So perhaps this is really one point. The other point is to work more on some regional initiatives, because there should be some market sort of integration to create scale. And this is really very important, because if you want to attract a larger type of investors, because when there is some sort of alignment of regulation or some sort of regional cohesion, it will really make the region really much more attractive. So these are perhaps the two takeaway points to conclude with.
Okay, should I? Yeah, but okay, maybe we can conclude. Okay, one more, please. This is the last remarks. Okay.
Just one minute.
Yes.
When I talk about 3 billion euros, which income from Bosnian diaspora to Bosnia, we give some proposal to Central Bank of Bosnia before a couple of years. When we are sending our money to Bosnia, of course, in all of the world, we paid some fees for this sending money. Our proposal was for all of this, when I sent my money to my, for example, for my relatives to Bosnia, if I pay fees for that about 7, 8 or 10 euros, our proposal was to make one all together with the central bank and the whole banking system in the Bosnia must be organized in this way that if I pay 10 euros, please make 1 or 2 euros to the special bill or open one separate invoice, and we can establish one foundation, invest foundation, and for all of these fees of 1 or 2 euros must be for Bosnian invest project. But I don't know, it is no any answer about Central Bank of Bosnia or all the bank, but we must work all together for that.
Exactly.
Shortly, when I pay 10 euros, make 1 euro for the separate bill, and in the future it must be money, it can be money for the investment project in Bosnia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we will close our panel with these last remarks. Thank you so much for participating. Audience, thank you for your attention. Hopefully you enjoy the panel. Emela.
Thank you, Mr.
Stage is
Mehic.
yours.
Yeah, stay with me a bit more, please. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, dear panelists. I just need you here on the stage because we want to make a photo. It's time for photo call. So please join us, me and Mr. Mehic, and put a big smile on. This was interesting discussion.
Really?
Edo, congratulations.
You
Yeah. This is
Okay.
actually the last round table of today's, actually of the whole Sarajevo Business Forum, but definitely not the last part of our program. This room will soon be filled with young people.
Good.
Yeah, I'm happy to announce that in 10 minutes we'll present the winners of one exciting program. It's Munja Business Challenge program.
Nadam se bilo dobro.
The last final competition is going on right at this moment. Please don't be shy. Come here.
Hey.
Join us on the stage
Thank you.
for the official photo.
Yes. Yeah. Svaka čast. Bilo je super. Bilo dobro. Hvala tebi.
Mr. Gabriel, take a lead. Yeah. That's the right position. Yeah. Ladies first. Bravo. Yeah, we're gonna send you photos, but you can find it on our Facebook page. Sarajevo Business Forum Facebook page or Instagram account. Thank you everybody once again. We need 10 more minutes and then we'll pronounce the finalist of Munja Business Challenge, project dedicated to young people. In 10 minutes, great. Take a break and let me remind you to use the opportunity to visit our B2B rooms. And of course, for the first time, the conference sponsors have the opportunity to present their projects and their business profiles in the biggest conference room of the Hills Hotel. Visit them and collect all relevant info. Thank you.